Good morning. We made it on time today. It's a Christmas miracle after Christmas. I hope you're having a good day. I'm going to give you a moment to get yourself situated, pour yourself that cup of coffee, and we will do a quick check-in this morning. Yeah, it's going to be good. It's the awkward. I'm just going to drink my coffee, drop my shoulders, and wait for you to show up. Please say hello in the comments as you join our coffee chat this morning. My gosh, the moon this week has been so exceptional. Do you feel that? Have you been seeing how gorgeous it looks both like night and morning? It's amazing. Good morning, Kevin. How are you? Sandy, good morning. How's things? Good morning, Cheryl. It's Friday. It's Friday, friends. It's so exciting. Yeah. It's like a mellow Friday morning. I guess because we're like morning after 13th birthday. Now we're just teenagers and we're just going to sleep all the time. This is really what I have to look forward to, isn't it? Kelly, good morning. Rhonda, how are you? Good morning. I know the pink sky is so beautiful. Lately, I just feel like all week long it has put on this incredible show for us that has been so gorgeous. Makes the drive to school that much better and that much easier, that's for sure. That's good. What's on your mind today? Happy Friday to you. We've got another, what I think is supposed to be for us in Southern Alberta. Not sure about our friends across the country, but for us here in Southern Alberta, we've got a pretty nice weekend ahead of us. So looking forward to that. Good morning, Kathy. Good morning, Angie. Angie's looking for some pics. So if anybody took any pictures of the sky over the last few days, Angie does some weather reports online. If you want to share those with her, you could throw them in the comments or you could send them to her directly, but you could throw them in the comments and then she can save them and put them up for weather. That's fun. Help each other out. I did not get a guest booked for us to hang out with us on this fun Friday morning. It's just been one of those weeks where people are just, I don't know if you found that in your neck of the woods or, in the work that you do, but it's just my schedule has been like made and then changed and then changed and then changed like 4 times this week. People are just, I don't know if it's people feeling under the weather themselves or having some workplace challenges with people being under the weather or any of those things, but it's just been one of those weeks where I'm like, this may or may not happen. And that's how you just got to roll with it. And yeah, it's been like a continually plan changed week. How's that been for you? Morning, Krista. So yesterday, as you may or may not have seen or known, I did talk about it on Wednesday that yesterday it was my son's 13th birthday. So big teenager birthday. And what was funny, I guess, or interesting is I had went to pick him and his buddy that he was we were going to go to a movie last night. And so that was because, when your birthday falls in the middle of the week, what do you do on the actual birthday on a school night? And so I went to pick up the boys after school. And as we're driving back from the school, I can hear this like weird thump. It sounds like a whopping thumping noise. And I'm like, do you guys hear that? And they're both car boys, boys that love cars. They're just really into it. And he's like, the one kid's like, Miss Jody, I think it's your tire. And I was like, I agree with you. We better pull over. So we pull over and there is this giant, like, nail spike coming out of my tire, and you can just hear the air hissing out of the tire. And we are on the road halfway between two towns at this point. So I'm like, okay, uh, you boys ever changed a tire before? Here we go. Here we go. And so it was kind of funny because I'd said to the boys after, I was like, some parents spend a lot of money to take their kids to some sort of adventure room or one of those escape rooms or a video game or something. People spend a lot of money on birthday events. But I did adventure by the side of the road absolutely free. It was brilliant. And they learned how to get the spare out and how to take it off and all of those things. Between the three of us, we had the entire skill set to make it happen. What was challenging for the three of us was the strength required, because I don't know who designed the jacks that are in your vehicle to jack up your car to change your tire. And I mean, I 100% understand that you are going to get a budget version because they're just making a kind that goes in every vehicle. But have you used this before? Anybody? Um, the handle that they give you to jack up your vehicle. And I mean, honestly, where are you ever going to be doing this outside of the side of the road, right? Like, you're not pulling into a heated garage and you're going to use this shit jack that they put in your vehicle to do it. Like, you're going to be in the worst places with howling winds and gravel, and you're on the side of the road and you pull into someone's drive. You know what I mean? Like, it's always going to be those scenarios. So why did we create the world's worst handly thing? I know I don't have the right words. You can roll your eyes at me if you want to, but like, it was so hard. And it's just like this hook that you're putting in and you're trying to jack up your vehicle enough so that you can get the tire off. And so anyway, Caden's dad came to the rescue, thankfully, because we just needed the vehicle to be jacked like this much further and some help pulling it off. And we were so close to being able to do it all on our own. The skills that we will, but when do you work on those skills ever, right? Like, you never get the opportunity to practice. Maybe, Caden does helping out on the farm, but you know what I mean? Anyway, it was our free birthday side of the road adventure that worked out. And yeah, Caden's dad came to the rescue. Thank you, Bryce, for helping us. And we were able to fix the tire and put it back on. I didn't even have to drive with the weird little spare, but the boys learned all about that piece. And so that was our birthday adventure. The nice part is we still had lots of time to have dinner and go to the movie. It all worked out in the end. Whereas I think when we were on the side of the road, the boys were starting to get concerned that they were going to miss it. I think because Caden's friend kept saying, like, what time is the movie again? And I'm like, bud, we've got so much time. It is not going to take us that many hours to do this or else. The interesting thing, my friends, and I don't know if you've seen this, or I guess it became something of top of mind, is that I was intrigued with the amount of traffic that drove past us. So we were able to pull off the side of the road into somebody's little oncoming driveway. They weren't home. So we weren't right on the road, because that particular road that we were on doesn't actually have shoulders. So it's an interesting space to get a flat tire. And so I was intrigued at how many vehicles drove past a woman and two boys on the side of the road and didn't slow down or ask if we required help. Now, I know in this day and age, because I think I've been guilty of this myself, just food for thought. I'm not angry in any way, shape, or form. I just found it interesting that most of the time, right, we just automatically assume people have cell phones, they've called for help, they're getting roadside assistance, any of those things. Do you know what I mean? So we don't really worry about people pulled over on the side of the road. We just keep going. And that's what everybody did, except one man slowed down and pulled over and asked if we needed help, just as Caden's dad had pulled in to come in and help us. One person. And I was like, thank you, sir, for checking. Because I mean, yes, we had cell phones, and yes, I was allowing these 13-year-old boys to hone this skill. Like, I was like, hey, we might as well have a learning moment in this. This is amazing. But it was just intriguing that not a single person pulled over and just like, hey, do you need, like, what if my cell phone was dead? What if I didn't have, I mean, I think I even have OnStar in my vehicle. Like, was completely safe and had help coming. And I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, have you driven past people and not gave assistance before and wondered later if maybe they would have needed help? And I think I've done that because I think I just automatically assume people have cell phones. Everybody has them in their vehicles anymore, and people would call for help. But I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? Or have we become a world? I mean, because you hear stories about this all the time. It just got me thinking, because you hear stories about all the time that people, if they were, harmed in a downtown city or attacked somewhere or stranded or something, and people have called for help and people haven't come. Like, you hear stories all the time about people having needed help, but people not helping. And is that because we're afraid we would get hurt ourselves? Are we not equipped with what we should do in those scenarios? Should we put our own self in a potential harm's way to help another person? Is that part of who we are as humans, or not? And either can be fine, because we can only do what we're comfortable with. But it just got my little hamster running a little bit about what kind of scenarios come up where maybe we feel ill-equipped. Maybe we feel fearful. Maybe we don't want to help. Maybe we have somewhere we need to be that is way more important. I don't know. What does that look like or feel like to you? I would love to have your input on what you think that's like. Right. Okay. I like this. Rhonda says, I assume that if you would have needed help, you would wave down a driver. If you wave, I would stop. That's a good point. And I was not waving traffic because I didn't require the help. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I was perfect in this scenario either, but I like this, this input, Rhonda, that, yeah, if you need the help too, you need to be looking like you need the help. I appreciate that. That's a good point. And I think we looked like we had it under control. Looks could be deceiving perhaps, but no, the boys did really good. And they took turns jacking the vehicle, and they took turns, taking off, like, I don't know, I don't have the words. Lug nuts, is that what they would be called? Anyway, they were amazing. Cheryl says, if it's daytime, I will, but in the dark, not usually, unless I can tell they're seniors. Well, and being women, Cheryl, I get, like, there's a safety factor that comes into play for us, whether we want to admit that fully as a society or not. But yeah, I get you. I think some governments have passed the Good Samaritan Law, where you're required to help someone in circumstances. See, that I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, now Jim lives in the States, so that could be an American thing, but I don't know if we need laws to be good humans. I feel that could be a discussion amongst what's happening in our world right now, but we won't go down there. Yes, big news. Rhonda, thank you. That was the next thing I had on my list to talk about. Today is National Hug Day, my friends. And I feel like in our current circumstance of life, we have let hugs go by the wayside. Hugs have become something that we don't do anymore because we're living in this world where we're going to spread germs. But I am a big advocate of the hug. And if you look it up, which I did, there is science, friends. There is science behind the research of how important hugging is for one another. Hugging releases serotonins. It releases also, when you hug somebody, it releases an endorphin in your body also called oxytocin. Now, oxytocin is like the feel-good hormone that comes into your body. When you hug somebody, you also release serotonin, and there's another one that the name just went out of my poof out of my head. It also releases those two things, which are the feel-good things. In the feel-good places, that can help you mentally and can also help your actual physical health. Virtual hug. I guess so. But the thing is uh, mask up and hug somebody. Hold your breath if you're that afraid of it. But honestly, friends, that giving somebody a hug in this day and age does not scare me. I do not live in that fear state of mind. However, I do believe that hugging needs to come back. And maybe it's even just hugging the people who are in your bubble, if that's what makes you feel better. But give somebody a hug today. Hugs are incredibly good for you, incredibly good for you. And they feel amazing. So I hope that you will get a hug today from someone somewhere. You could hug yourself if you wanted to, right? We can all, it's not the same, but we make do with what we make do. But even if you can hug someone, hug your pet, do a hug action today because it's so good for you. It is so good for you. So that's where I'm at on that. Cheryl says it also depends where she is. Yeah, and I get that. I'm not saying we have to help people, not by any means. It was just one of those, one of those thoughts that pops into your head and then you're curling your hair and you're thinking about it. It's what happens. What else is on your mind today? What do you got going on for the weekend? Anything exciting? A hug fest, maybe? Yeah, we're gonna do some shopping later, I think, to keep the birthday celebrations going. That would be kind of what we're up to. Maybe we'll find some other sort of adventure. I don't know how you top stranded by the side of the road adventure. But I think that was pretty brilliant, and we'll give it a try. We'll try something else. Who knows? We're gonna have some fun. Jim says he's gonna watch the Buffalo Bills play Sunday night. Okay, go Bills. Sure, it's good. I guess. What would it be for us? We don't have. I was trying to think of where it looks like. Okay, when Peter was in the hospital having his surgery, I broke down in the bank and the bank ladies came and hugged me. I didn't know how much I really needed those hugs until that moment. Yeah, I love that, Rhonda. And I love that about our community is that, people will hug you if you need it. But I think that we don't realize, and I think that we've gone through now almost 2 years of not having that kind of connection with people. And that's the whole point, right? We've talked about this a bazillion times because it's my favorite thing to talk about connection and how important that is. And that's why we have Virtual Coffee Club in the first place. So we have some kind of connection, but physical connection with people is so important. And I think we've lived in this world where we've really left that piece out because we were told we couldn't. But I think that we need to circle that back, and I think we need to bring those physical connections back together because they are so good for you. My hugs are great. One arm or two, either doesn't matter, I guess. One arm hugs are a cop out. It's great from certain people, but others are like in my safe space. Well, I'm not saying you have to go out and hug complete strangers. Although I do challenge you to do that. I do challenge you to do that. Rhonda says, yeah, it's not okay. Our hearts need hugs. Yeah, our hearts need hugs. Our minds need hugs. Our physical self needs hugs. Everything. Kevin says, a great big hug to everyone. Thank you, Kevin. You know what? Even I feel like the thought of hugging somebody is also pretty beautiful, isn't it? Like, feels good to think, okay, all right, Kevin, we are hugging right now. Starting to get new calves. Ooh, calving. That's my favorite time. Maybe I should deliver because I'm going to admit, Kevin, I have not mailed your Christmas gift yet. Maybe I need to deliver it in person so that I can see the baby cows. I love calving season. And I think I can say that because I never had to, when I grew up on the farm, I never had to get up in the middle of the night or the really early morning shift to go check cows. I always got the daytime version. So uh, I know it's a lot more work than I'm making it sound. I'm making it seem like it's this great, joyful time where it is, but it's also a lot of hard work. So, hey, props to our farmers and ranchers this morning. Corey says, I love hugs. Me too. You can deliver to Strathmore. Yeah. It's like all of a sudden, I'm just going to be delivering. Then you'll never get your stuff. I really need to get that in the mail. I promise I will. Connections are better with conversation. Burge, thank you. Yes. Agree with you. So I don't know. There's your challenge. If it's not today, sometime this weekend, I need you to hug somebody. Somewhere, someone. Someone you know, someone in your family, someone on the street. I don't know. Let's start a hugging revolution and just try it. Get people connecting again like we used to. I think it's possible, and I think it would be great. So I'm going to ask you Monday morning when we're back at 9 a.m. if you hugged somebody between Friday and Monday. That is your challenge. Okay. And I am so excited to hear what you do. Friends, have an incredible rest of your weekend. I hope it is fantastic. I wish you great hugs in your challenges, and we will see you back here Monday morning at 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time for another virtual coffee club. Bye, everybody.